So hello guys, today we are gonna solve another problem of CSES problem set. This is a graph problem and the question name is counting rooms. So we are given a map of a building and our task is to count the number of rooms. So the size of the map is n cross m and each square is either floor or wall. Okay, so you can walk left, right, up and down through the squares, and the input can be given as n and m, the height and width of the map, and there is floor which is marked as dot and wall is marked as hashtag. We need to find the number of rooms. So if we look at the example, there is a 5 cross 8 map, you can say, and we need to find out the number of rooms inside this map. So here we can see that this is one map, this is one map, and this whole of 3 cross 3 is a map. So there are total of 3 rooms. Okay, so we need to just count and return the number of components in it. It is similar to connect number of connected components in lead code. So let's try to implement it with the code. So let's start by writing hashtag include bit slash standard c++ dot h using namespace std. This is the basic boilerplate code of any CPP program. Okay, so initially we are given two variables int n and m, which is height and width of the map. So we have taken the input. Now we need a grid, so we can store it in vector of string input of size n. Okay, let's take the input first. We need to store everything into a string, so let's take it and store it into input of I. Okay, so now let's take it and try that. This is how we would take the input, and now we need to find all of the connected components. So to do that we would use DFS algorithm. That is, whenever we find dot into the graph, we would try to call a DFS and it would mark all the dots as visited. So whenever we traverse through whole grid, we can see that the number of time DFS is called, that would be our number of components. I guess it is pretty easy. So let's take a visited uh, array, you can say, vector of vector visited of size n cross n, and initially all is marked with 0. uh, let's mark all the hashtag to be 1 only, so we need not worry about it. If input of I comma j is hashtag, then we can mark it already visited, so we don't need to worry about it. Nice. Now what will we do is, whenever we encounter, we would try to traverse through whole string one by one like this. It is just a double for loop uh, to traverse the string each row wise. For I equal to 0, it will traverse through this for 1 2 3 similarly, and whenever we encounter dot, so then we can call the DFS function, and we need to pass both input as well as visited array. And whenever DFS is called, we can store it into a answer variable. And okay, answer, and answer plus plus whenever DFS is called, and at the end we can just print our answer. Nice. Now we just need to write the DFS function. It will take two parameters, int I comma j. I and j is nothing but x and y coordinate, you can say. We need a grid. That was input, and another thing we need was visited array, right? We need to pass it by reference so that whatever changes we do in the visited array, it stores directly into it. First of all, we need to mark it visited. It's just a basic DFS call. We need to traverse through its neighbors, and to traverse its neighbors we need two arrays, I can say. Int dx of size 4, it will store -1 0 1 comma 0, and int dy of size 4 0 comma 1 comma 0 comma -1. So it will help us to traverse up, right, down and left. So if -1 comma 0 is there, so the new I is will get to I plus dx of I. So we can't name the variable I only, so let's call it a. And so new I will become original I. For example, if in the input we were at this position, so new I will become -1, so this column, right, this cell, I need to highlight it. So that's how it can traverse all four directions. And new j will be j plus dy of a. We need to check that it is first of all valid or not. So it should be greater than 0, it should be less than n, and j should be greater than equals to 0, and nj should be less than m. And n and m are not declared over here, so what we can do is we can create a global variable int n comma m, and we can just remove it because we make it global, so we don't need to pass it by reference each time. Also we can do the same thing for this as well, input, but it's fine. What we need is input of new I comma new j must be equals to dot, and it shouldn't be visited previously, right? So that's how we will check. And after that we will call DFS for new I, new j, input and visited. And after completing the DFS, it would mark each as 1, and I guess it should work fine. Let's run the code. Let's see, it is giving 12, which is not expected. So what we have to do is we also need to check that it shouldn't be visited previously, right? So here I forgot to add one condition. Let's see now, and yes, it's giving perfectly fine. There are 3 components and the expected answer was also 3. So let's try to submit the code. Let's write it into VS Code, save it, and let's try and submit the code. This one, let's submit it. Yes, it is accepted. So that's how we have solved the question. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.